Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Green Wisdom Health Show. I'm Janet Lewis.
And I'm Dr. Lewis.
And we are going to change this show up a little bit, and it's going to be a hodgepodge of things. And the name of the show is called Just In Case You Missed It. And the reason we decided to name it that is because we have had several patients, family members, suggesting that we need to tell people about some new products that we have. We've tried to mention it a little bit here and there, but there are some pretty big products that came out that we felt is in need of its own airtime because of the fabulous results we're getting with them. And a lot of the people that have been with us a long time may not be aware we have this now or why you would need that in addition to what we have been doing. We also have some new testing that's available. I think we briefly discussed it in another show, but Dr. Lewis is going to go into a little bit more detail, especially because it ties into a couple of your questions that you had asked him on Shooting Straight with Dr. Lewis on Facebook. So we're going to start with the new product first, I guess the one that I wouldn't say we're most excited about because we're excited about several of them. But the first one we'd like to talk about is our new functional plant protein. It's called Perfect Plant Protein. And we started it off being vanilla flavored, but it became such a hit that we also decided to make it in chocolate sea salt flavor. So we now have two flavors of it. And you're saying, well, what's the difference between it and anything else that's out there? This particular protein is totally organic, which is a huge deal. The other part of that huge deal is usually when you get totally organic, you get a cost factor that goes with it that makes it incredibly expensive. This is not, and it's all grown in the USA. So this pea protein has actually got the prebiotic fiber in it as well, and which you're going to ask, well, what does that have to do with anything? Because people really don't understand prebiotics, because that's kind of the next up and coming thing about where they're going to go with your probiotics. It's going to be more prebiotics. But pea protein actually supports muscle growth, promotes a healthy metabolism, supports immune system function. It supports cardiovascular health. And a prebiotic fiber benefits the microbiome health, but Dr. Lewis will have to explain to us what that would mean in terms of someone noticing something different by taking a prebiotic for microbiome health. How is that different, I guess, than the probiotics?
Oh, it gives the probiotics a place to live and a place to get established real well, because they're are good bacteria, and there's about 10 times more of them than we have cells in our body. They're challenged by chemicals that are in our environment. They're challenged by the fluoride and the chloride. They need all the help they can get. So a prebiotic gives them a place to live and to thrive, to get established and form what they call a CFU, or a colony forming unit.
Okay. Well, and then it also, the prebiotics support the growth of, like you said, beneficial probiotics, which are the specific bifidobacteria, lactobacilli, and bacteroids. It actually helps you go to the bathroom regularly. And if you guys have been listening to us any length of time, you will know that that is a huge plus for us, because we're always talking about getting your trains moving a little better.
Janet is, not me.
Well, I can tell you from doing or having tried different protein powders in the past, I guess because they weren't plant-based, or maybe because they weren't organic, or maybe because they didn't have a prebiotic in them, the trains started locking up after a few meals because they seemed to be more protein-based, I guess.
Well, some of the people act like, well, plant-based is a badge of courage. Just because it's plant-based does not mean it's good, and there's plenty of research out there to support that. I know people that are vegans. I know people that are carnivore only, which I don't suggest going too far either way, but I think that's kind of one of the questions we got. But plant-based is not necessarily good. So just because you're eating only plants doesn't mean it's good for you.
Okay. So, it helps support nutrient absorption. So actually doing a protein drink in the morning, which, the other part of that is a lot of people have trouble losing weight. And we try to tell them if you would do this plant protein as a meal replacement, which you literally can, it helps regulate your blood sugar, and it helps your other nutrients absorb better, because most people say, well, I don't like eating anything in the morning when I swallow these pills and they're making me nauseous because I don't eat anything. You can actually drink this and it doesn't do that. I mean, it helps you get the other nutrition down as well. And it also helps with inflammation. So, some of the frequently asked questions about it, I guess, is like, what is protein? Proteins are the main building blocks of the human body. They're used to make muscles, tendons, organs, and skin. They're made from amino acid proteins, which are an essential macronutrient. In addition, it helps our cells grow and mend themselves and serves as fuel. So why use a daily protein? Because many individuals struggle to get the amount of type of protein their body needs to function optimally through a varied diet, which you can, when you're out there trying to eat right, it's super hard to get what you need. Daily protein supplementation offers individuals a convenient way to increase the quantity and quality of their protein intake. So it improves your blood sugar regulation, helps your immune system, helps support muscle growth, and helps sustain energy. So what are the benefits of plant protein compared to animal protein? It's far better for the plant-based nourishment. It's far better for the environment. It has much smaller carbon footprint, uses much less fresh water to produce, and it still offers almost the same amount of protein as animal-based protein source. It's also more allergy and specialty diet friendly, which we're going to get into some of the testing about why that would be important. So I guess, what we're trying to tell you is that this stuff, it's got organic agave in it. It's got organic sorghum. I think Dr. Lewis's
monk fruit
in it. It's got the things that are good for you instead of some of this other stuff.
Yeah, and for so many people who have allergies, which, like Janet said, we're going to get into about our new testing. It's free of the more commonly associated with allergens or allergies, like milk and casein, eggs, fish, shellfish, tree nuts, peanuts, wheat, gluten, and soybeans. So, and it also has no artificial colors, flavors, or preservatives. And sometimes when you feel better and when you lose weight, it's not because of the diet you're on, it's just because of what you gave up. So you have to look at it and the possibility of being either way or both.
And what we were excited about is the cost. It's cost effective and it tastes good, because there's so many of them out there that do not taste good. Yeah. And, I had one lady that was taking them, that was taking a plant, wasn't a plant protein. She was taking a protein powder, and she was a diabetic, full-blown diabetic. She kept coming in here, and she was like, I'm not losing any weight. And she says, now I have these dark circles under my eyes. She said, I look like a raccoon. And we realized it was her kidneys. The protein that she was drinking was not plant-based. It wasn't organic, and it was causing her, like she said, her trains weren't moving through the tunnel like they should, and she was swelling. And we switched her over to this new perfect plant protein we have, and she loves it. I mean, she's doing really, really well on it, and she doesn't look like a raccoon anymore either. So that's one of the products we have. The other one that we wanted to tell you about is something called GPC. And Dr. Lewis will have to explain to you what GPC stands for, because it's a super long name, a doctorly name, and what the benefits of taking GPC does for you.
Well, it's called glycerylphosphocholine, and that was one of the ones that Janet was experimenting on. And I'm getting on up in years. I'm almost to middle age now, and she's very concerned about keeping my heart beating and my brain going. She calls it the big brain, which is not true, but she's flattering me. And anyway, she makes me a drink every morning with all kinds of stuff in it. And this proteins she was talking about also, and lots of the really good, more absorbable fish oil. And she experiments a lot, and I just take whatever she puts in front of me because I trust her. And I noticed my memory was getting better, and I've kind of been blessed with a good memory anyway, but I just looked at her and said, "What are you doing? Something's changing." And she grinned like the cat that ate the canary. And she had been putting GPC in at a double dose, and I don't think it's really that beneficial until you get to the double dose. But what it does for most people, it improves memory, improves your mental focus, your reaction time, which I need because I'm kind of slow, methodical thinker anyway. But it does it not only in the elderly, which is not me yet, but it also works on young individuals, which means these kids with ADD, ADHD could very much benefit from this. It boosts something called acetylcholine, and they knew about this about 100 years ago with the probiotics, which maybe I'll get into later. That helps it be released from the neurons and probably other cells too. It helps compensate acetylcholine depletion that usually happens when you age, or whether you're having hormonal imbalances like estrogen deficiency, like menopause, and probably also with women that are on oral contraceptives. Probably improves the EEG patterns, improves the production of dopamine, serotonin, and GABA, and those are basically the feel-good hormones. You feel satiated, you feel the peace of God. Helps, if you have a lack of one or more of those, you usually are the ones that go into anxiety and or possibly addiction, because you don't have that feel good in your brain, so you're trying with your addiction to satisfy that, no matter what the addiction can be. Improves energy level for sure.
We know the one thing I noticed about GPC, which is who I tried it on first, was my dad. Before I gave it to Dr. Lewis, my dad's 85, and his brain, we've kept it pretty good with some of the supplements we had. He's doing way better than most.
Oh, yeah.
And we added that GPC liquid in, and he called me and said, this stuff doesn't really work. He said, I said, how much are you taking of it? He said, I'm doing 1 dropper full. It's a liquid. It tastes sweet. It doesn't taste bad at all. It's great for people that don't want to swallow another pill. And he said, it's not working. I said, try 2 dropperfuls. And that seems to be the magic amount, is 2 dropperfuls of it. And he called me back in 2 days. He said, oh my gosh, this stuff really does work. He said, my memory is really improved. And we were so amazed at how well he was remembering. We just went to a family function, and my brother said, what did you give our dad? And I told him, and he goes, how come I don't know about this? And he said he's totally even more with it than he was. And so now my brother's on it. I mean, I think I got the whole family on it. And, of course, Dr. Lewis, because anytime he's getting ready to talk, I'm like, you do your GPC. So we're super excited about that one. And I'm sorry if we haven't told you about it, but this is the show to tell you all about the new stuff. So those are probably our 2 biggest ones that we have. And yeah. Dr. Lewis, you want to add something else about it?
Oh, I'm a big fan of acetyl L-carnitine, and we do a few of the amino acids. It's really, really good. And between acetyl L-carnitine and the GPC, it in a lot of studies has shown to have a great improvement in people that have Alzheimer's. Improves on another subject, improves sperm motility, because most of these couples that can't get pregnant, of course, I send them to their GI doc or urologist, whatever, gynecologist if it's a lady, but it's not always the woman that has the issue. Many times it's the man. So it increases sperm motility, helps fat transport in and out of the cells, which is really, really good. And there's actually a study that said it could be very, very good for Duchenne's, and that's a horrible genetic problem. So, there's many, many good uses for this. It's the building block for phosphatidylcholine, which phosphatidylcholine, phosphatidylserine is well known for neurological function and rebuilding the brain. So the GPC is advanced way beyond that.
And I remember carrying phosphatidylcholine at one point, and you really couldn't tell mentally that it did much. We had another product that was phosphatidylserine that worked pretty well, but it was not to the degree that this was. So this must be really concentrated or something, but it's good stuff. So if you got people out there with Alzheimer's type symptoms, that would be a great product for them. And then we have a couple of questions. They were actually almost the same, but they were from different people. So we thought we'll talk to you a little bit about these different tests we have. I think we touched on that just a little bit. We've teamed up with another company called Vibrant Wellness. We've been actually working on this for quite some time and are really excited that things have finally gotten to the point that we're able to order this anywhere in the United States. Vibrant Wellness.
And maybe other countries too. Like we mentioned before, we've gotten to where we can ship almost everything we have.
That's true.
To other countries. So you people listening in other countries, I'm sorry in the past we couldn't help you, but now we can.
Well, and what's so exciting about this and what we've been waiting on is it was the inability to send them to a lab locally to have this testing done. And this testing is stuff that is now done with a finger prick at home. So people that are scared of going to the lab or don't like needles, this is a great way for you to do your lab yourself at home and send it back off and get some very valuable information about what's happening with your health. And I think we're going to, I'll read the question first, and then I'm going to get Dr. Lewis to kind of explain the difference in what tests we have available for it. And we're in the middle of adding more. So what you see on our website right now, that's one testing we have. We're going to be adding some other ones in the future. Some of you have asked us about heavy metal testing. That's coming as well. There's going to be some extensive hormone testing coming. But right now, we have what's called a wheat zoomer panel, and you can add in food additives or you can add in food sensitivity. So I'm going to
food allergies, and there's a difference between the three.
Right, and so I'm going to read the question, and so you kind of explain where you would go with that, of what you would want to look for, and tell us why you would pick that, because some people, including myself, don't understand when to pick what. So Lauren kind of got us started on this yesterday and got us, we got her a test ordered, but she said, "Hi, Dr. Lewis. She's needing some insight on this. We've been I've been having these random red spots pop up on my arm, and just noticed I had more today. They're flat, painless, and not bug bites. But I haven't been feeling too great, having lots of food sensitivity issues lately." So that was Dr. Lewis's clue that maybe we needed to find out what it is she's sensitive to. "I know when I was little I could get these dots when I was sick. Could this be correlated to allergies, virus, infections? What would be a good step to figure this out?" And Lauren has been doing our regular lab work for years and doing really well, but she wants to take it a step further. So, Dr. Lewis, can you kind of tell me what exactly a step further would be? What is it you recommended for her, and why did you recommend it?
Yeah, let me back up. There's some people that they did my program, they felt really, really good. Most of them will say that. The ones that didn't stick with it long enough. But what I want you to know is we're always evolving. There's always something new, always something different. That's why you've seen so many products change, because, oh my God, we got something of the same quality or better quality and cost less. So we've had about 2 years of that, and it's absolutely amazing. The advances that we've made, because I'm a brilliant man, and that means I surround myself with women that are beautiful and smarter than me, and that would be Janet and Brandy. We've got a couple others that work for us from time to time too. But the main thing is you've heard me talk bad about wheat forever, and wheat is not what wheat used to be. And in a nutshell, we say gluten this, gluten that. Well, why we eat bread for thousands of years, and now there's a gluten problem. And people are making fun of it. Well, guess what? Your time's coming. You're just a little less susceptible than some of us because wheat's not what it used to be. And since we feed it the NPK, the fast food, to our food, it makes the plants grow so fast that it creates more protein faster. And that protein is gluten. There's 4 to 40 times more gluten than there was in wheat, say, back in the 70s. And it's not just gluten. There's other proteins in wheat that are pretty bad also, which this test does cover. So the reason you might want to think about doing it's called a wheat zoomer. If you suspect you have a gluten or wheat sensitivity, if you suspect intestinal permeability or the leaky gut, the GI inflammation, which would be either constipation or diarrhea or fluctuate back and forth, cramping, nausea, discomfort after eating, headaches, including migraines, different neurological symptoms, which can be the memory loss. Even though the GPC has worked real well, there may be other components. And that's why I always tell people, well, see your specialist. You go see your GI doctor. You go see your endocrinologist, and that's always a good thing. But sometimes what's missing is you don't have the proper testing and the proper approach to allow your body to have the nutrients in which to heal. Some of the other things is skin rashes, bumps, which can be related to thyroid, which is very much related to some of these sensitivities and or allergies. Joint pain. Talked to a young man in Pennsylvania yesterday. Hey, Robert. And this could very likely be part of his problem. Autoimmune conditions. We see more and more of that all the time, and it just makes me want to cry when I see all these kids that are having autoimmune problems, and their parents have spent tens of thousands of dollars to no avail. And I saw a young man in here yesterday in the office. He was 17, and it's terrible what he's gone through at 17 years of age. Sometimes if you have low vitamin D, as in, you may not be able to absorb it if you take it. And I've talked to 1,000 people about that. Different food sensitivities or getting fatigued after meals. So there's a lot of possibilities why you would suspect that the wheat zoomer might be good for you.
And one of the things we're excited about this wheat zoomer is it also has an intestinal permeability panel in it, which is, in layman's term, leaky gut. It tells you if you have more of a predisposition for leaky gut or in the middle of it, and that's part of your issue with absorption problems and how to repair that. There is also a genetic test on there to tell you if you're predisposed to being celiac. And, we mentioned that was one of the things that attracted Dr. Lewis when he was having horrible stomach pains. He ran this test, and it showed that he had a predisposition to being almost celiac. And cutting out gluten, you're able to actually go back in and reverse that back out before you're actually diagnosed with celiacs. So he wants to add to that, too.
Yeah, I have been to the expense and pain of doing different tests, and sometimes I'll do a double-blind study. I did that. I told you about on hair analysis, and they've never come up to be anywhere close to accurate, even though it's the same hair. I did this with another so-called the best gut testing in the world. What they came up with not short of BS. So this test will actually differentiate between what's real, what's not, what's supposed, and what's imagined.
So it comes with the wheat, to test for wheat. It comes with testing lectins, which I guess that is what... And
lectins are in a lot of things besides or in addition to wheat. It can be, legumes. It can be your peas, your beans, your peanuts. It can be in different vegetables, such as your nightshades.
Okay. So you get lectins, wheat, you get a leaky gut test, and then you also get to pick 2 of the most other eaten foods that are the foods you eat the most often, like corn, dairy, soy,
shellfish. It could be a lot of different things.
So you get to
dairy
pick
products.
2 of those, and then there's one other test, and we're trying to differentiate it for you on the website. We've actually put some brochures on there, and we put some sample reports because we know this is confusing to you. It's been a lot for us to take in, but you're able to actually go on greenwisdomhealth.com and go to specialty testing tab, and there we have sample reports of what these reports look like should you order these wheat zoomers. And I think you'll be really impressed with the documentation you receive, the reports you get. But I know a lot of people out there have done something called allergy testing. Allergy testing is good, and Dr. Lewis will have to explain what makes this different, but we're actually doing the food sensitivity. I guess you can have allergies, but it's caused from maybe a food sensitivity or a food additive. And we specifically picked food sensitivity because there's a lot of people out there that are just getting started on their health journey, and they're not really sure about what foods are causing what problem. So food sensitivities, adding that to the test would make that more reasonable for that person, because they're going to have aha moments of things they thought it was okay to eat, and they find out it's not. Food additives, and you're thinking, these are more for people that are already doing nutritional supplements. They're trying to eat right. They're on a keto diet maybe. They're not losing weight. They're not getting the desired the effects that they want, but they can't figure out what they're doing wrong. And when you think about additives, you're probably thinking, oh, dyes and all that kind of stuff. I know not to do dyes, but there's other things that this tests for, like glyphosate, MSG. It tests latex. It tests your sweeteners like mannitol, monk fruit, saccharin, stevia, sucralose, xylitol. So even though you're trying to be healthy, you may have a sensitivity to some of these additives. So if you knew that, you'd be able to stop those things and start regaining health. So we've kind of we know it's a lot to take in, and that's what we're here for, and that's what Dr. Lewis is going to explain the test results to you, because we're going to take the guesswork out of what's happening and what you need to fix the problem with that test. But we can help guide you to which test would be best for you. So basically it comes with the same things other than the choice of 2 different food groups you eat, or whether you want food additives or food sensitivity test. So we're just telling people that have been doing health for a long time that still feel like something's missing.
We can take it to a different degree.
And add food additives to it. And the people just getting started do food sensitivity. Right. So we think that's probably the easiest way to break it down. So, Lauren, thank you for the question. I know Jennifer had questions about the same thing. She was getting spots and rashes that come up in various places, and mostly on her arms, torso, neck, and chest area. I thought it was really odd. I was like, God leads us in directions when it's time, and it's just like all this is opened up at once. I guess it's time to move forward.
We don't make plans. We get up and say, what in the holy heck? How many blessings can you throw at us today? And it's amazing, because we think it's always going to be a blessing that we get them. It's what you think and what you speak and what you vibrate.
It's like all, people are also going back to the labs now, and now this has come up as well. And for you that are going, well, should I be doing this instead of running my lab? Yes, you need to be doing both things. You always need the lab work, because that's basic physiology, I guess, things that we need to look at to see if they're optimal. But this other part is things that you need to know for your general health one time. It's not like you have to take this all the time. You at least know what's wrong. So hopefully we've explained this in a way, and I'm sorry that y'all haven't known about all of this up to this point, because like I said, we've been working on it a long time. We've been trying to get it where it's easy. This is not something you are able to really order on our website. You pay for it on our website and fill out a health survey with it, and then we're going to actually call you and verify to make sure you've picked the right thing, so that we get the testing right to order it for you, and then we send the test kit to you, and you mail it back to Vibrant Health. And then you get a report, and you get to talk to Dr. Lewis. And the cost on all of that right now is like $600, which is a steal. Which is we've been waiting for good pricing as well.
Yeah, I've seen people that would spend $10,000 and not get this kind of information, much less that much attention. So we're going to make it well worthwhile and money well spent. We didn't get around to nearly as much as I wanted to, but there's one thing that we'll talk about later, but I want you to be aware of. There was this article that came out that said probiotics don't do much for people's gut health despite the hype. Bull, and I don't have time to get into it, but I'm going to have massive amount of well done research to refute this crazy report. You have to understand, sometimes when people say one thing, they're trying to deter you from doing the right thing, which is use your innate or inborn body's ability to heal. Probiotics do work, and I will go over several dozen different good research, not internet opinion, but research articles. So you'll be aware of that. And just because you read something that poo-poos, probiotics or supplements, for the most part, don't believe it.
So, I cannot believe our time has come to an end. We got excited about all these new products, and time ran out. And we do have more questions that we will answer in the coming weeks. We also ask that you keep them coming on Shooting Straight with Dr. Lewis or on our website itself. There's a place to submit a podcast question. We love, love, love answering them. Please share us with your friends or family. And we're thinking about having a giveaway to do that. So let us know your thoughts on that. In the meantime, if you're new to our show, go to greenwisdomhealth.com. Get started today filling out the health survey. We'll help guide you to having a life worth living. You guys have a great week, and we'll be here next time on the Green Wisdom Health Show.
Once again, our show has come to an end, but your hope in your health is only beginning. If you or a loved one are in need of a different outcome and are waiting for a brighter future, take the first step and go to our website and fill out the health survey. Please don't keep us a secret. If you know someone that could benefit from this podcast, please share this show with your friends and family. You're only one step away from a life worth living.